Hi, the topic that we are going to take in this video is Keeping Quiet. It's a poem by Pablo Neruda. Now, first of all, let us take the basic themes in the poem. Theme, as we all understand, in simplest terms, is any message that could be found in the text, any idea that could be related to the given text. So, this poem has many important themes, the most important of which is human beings' obsession with work. The poet very clearly tells us, the readers, that modern man is so obsessed with work that everything else in life seems unimportant to him, and because of his excessive busyness with work, his life has become sad. The second most important theme in the poem is significance of contemplation or introspection. The poet tells the readers that introspection is probably the only way of improving the standard of life for human beings as far as peaceful living is concerned. The poet continuously tells the readers that there is a significant need to make introspection a regular activity for human life. Other negative tendencies of modern human life, other than obsession with work, also find mention in the poem. The poet does not directly point towards any of such negative tendencies, but indirectly he has exposed many of such negative tendencies, such as discrimination. Human beings normally are in a habit of discriminating against other human beings. So, this is one of the negative human tendencies that find mention in the poem. Human obsession with war also is a very strong theme presented in the poem. Now, anti war poems are very usual in modern literature, and this poem also gives a very strong message against human tendency to create war. Human beings being fond of destruction of nature as well as other human beings find mention in this poem very clearly. Now, there are some very unique aspects of the poem which may be considered the unique aspects of the structure of the poem, or maybe the way in which the poet has presented the most strong ideas in the poem. First of all, there are very clear superficial as well as deeper meanings throughout the poem. Almost every line has a clear superficial meaning, which is meant only for the people who want to enjoy the poem reading it. And as far as the students of literature are concerned, there are deeper meanings associated with almost every line, every stanza of the poem. The negative tendencies of human life have been exposed without any direct reference to them. The poet hardly mentions that human beings have something negative in their life and there is need to change these things, but still there are very clear and very strong statements against some negative tendencies in modern human life. Now, most of the words and phrases present two different ideas. Even the use of pun is there in the poem. Pun, as we know, is a literary device where a single word could mean two different things and both the meanings could be applicable at the same point. Another unique aspect of the poem is that the poet suggests to the readers an activity, which is clearly the activity of contemplation, or we can call it introspection. The poet repeatedly asks the reader to stay quiet for some time, to forget about work, and to contemplate, to analyze what is happening in the life. But the poet is not simply suggesting an activity to the reader, but is actually giving a reason with facts why contemplation is to be considered so important for human life. Now, the major ideas summed up in this slide can also be seen as the summary of the poem. So, the poet gives us a clear idea that modern man is too obsessed with work. His greed to earn power and money keeps him too busy. And because of this excessive busyness in life, modern human being faces distortion in relationships. All kind of relationships that form part of his life have got distorted, and the poet has basically mentioned three types of relationships: the relationship with nature, the relationship with other human beings, and the relationship with self. So, nature, human beings, and self. These are three relationships that have got distorted in human life, and the reason for distortion of these relationships is man's obsession with work. Then the poet also suggests a solution for this problem. The poet clearly tells that sparing some time and contemplating is the only way to get rid of this negative situation. If a person finds time from his busyness to contemplate, to introspect about life, then the person would be able to understand the reasons for his sadness and ultimately would be able to change the situation. The poet tells us that contemplation or introspection will result in realization that these three kinds of relationships, that is relationship with nature, relationship with human beings, and relationship with the person's self, need to be improved. And once a person would understand this, then the person could improve these relationships and life could definitely get better. Improvement in the world cannot be achieved unless obsession for work is left aside. This becomes clear right from the title of the poem. The poet wants the readers to keep quiet for some time. And this keeping quiet is symbolic of forgetting all the worries of the world, forgetting about work, forgetting about progress, and not to be obsessed with activity. So, only then human beings can find some time to contemplate, and only contemplation can lead to understanding the situation that there are some relationships in our lives which need to be improved if we need a better life, if we need to remove sadness from our life. Otherwise, obsession for work has made human beings disturb their own relationships, and this has led to an enormous sadness in their life. So these are the main things that are part of the poem. In another video we would also discuss the text of the poem. So that's all for now. Thanks a lot.